available, may not be available. I would not know those figures.
But largely, what is the government action in this area? If I wanted to,
As far as adoption is concerned, government is the regulatory authority.
No, on the orphans plus destitute children, is there a government ministry?
No.
Is there no government ministry?
No, there is a Ministry for Women and Child Development.
Okay.
That is the ministry.
Yeah, but what are the government actions under this ministry? So, but even orphanages and which get subsidy, there are only 120 and each of them caters to 10 odd children.
No, if you are mixing up, 120 are the adoption agencies. Orphanages, there are multiple orphanages. There is no count. One does not know how many orphanages there are.
Okay.
Each state runs the orphanages.
Okay. Adoption agencies plus orphanages, how many children are catered to? There can't be any figure on that, is it?
There can't be any figure because there is no head count of the orphanages. One does not know. When you go to the government, they'll give you a list of orphanages you're registered with them. Then there are several with the religious organizations. There are several with the Charities Commissioner. Several which are not registered at all.
So one doesn't have the exact count of the orphanages in India?
No, neither orphanages nor the number of children in orphanages.
Okay. What are the challenges in catering to orphans and destitutes? Apart from, there should be also a demand for adopting. Does the demand for...
Demand. There is a huge demand for adopting within the country.
Okay.
There is a huge demand. Every city agency will have at least 200 to 300 parents registered and waiting for adoption and waiting for 2-3 years.
No, but we are talking about 25 million. So let's say even 5 million are orphans. Can 5 million be adopted?
5 million cannot be adopted. See, first of all, 5 million, you have to see whether those 5 million, as I said...
The 0 to 6 group.
0 to 6 group. So if you're looking at the 0 to 17 and saying 25 million, then 1/3, that is 8 million, would be 0 to 6, logically.
Yeah.
Okay. Now the question is, how many of those 8 million actually come into the institution?
Okay.
Very few come.
Okay.
Girls do not come. Into adoption, girls come because they are discarded, they are given away. But if you go to an orphanage, we recently did a study with 30 orphanages and we found only 3 were for girls. All 27 for boys. So the question is, where do the girl children go? So obviously they are with some family or the other, being looked after in the sense that they get 2 meals, but one doesn't know whether they end up as domestic labor.
Okay, so this is a problem, and so there are 4 problems: magnitude, corruption, inadequate fund, and procedures, and there is a huge demand, but somehow it's not getting translated. Now, point is, even now the number of adoptions are less than 10,000, while at least 1 million can be adopted every year. So you're talking about 100 times.
I wouldn't go to 1 million every year because we are talking of Indian adoptions. However, what you need to see from 3,500. 10,000 is a straight away possibility. 3,500 to 10,000. Also, if you see the mindset of people has changed. So going by that logic, you can assume that if there are more children available, there will be more parents willing to adopt.
How many couples are childless? Because we are talking about one side, the supply. Supposing we assume that all childless couples want to adopt. Supposing we say that, how many couples are childless?
No, that's difficult to say. But what I can tell you is, out of the people who come to adopt, who approach us for adoption, I would say about maybe 1/3 are people who already have children, who are doing it just for the cause, and 2/3 would be either single parents or parents who have not conceived.
Yeah, because I read nowadays there are some biological problems and the people are not conceiving.
That's right.
So now, if that is true, then we have that supply mismatch being rectified.
Absolutely. See, within the system itself, if you have 10,000 parents waiting, if you take a cumulative listing of all the agencies which have parents waiting, and if you come to the conclusion that there are 5,000 or 10,000 parents waiting, it means that there is an opportunity for 10,000 children. Now the question is, where are the children?
Okay.
So I cannot believe that there are no orphans. So it's the smaller children are not coming in, or illegal adoptions are happening through hospitals and midwives, etc. Or there are n number of things. But the fact of the matter is that they are not coming into the stream. Also, if there is an adoption agency and an orphanage next to each other, and the orphanage is not licensed to do adoption, okay? Then a child who is adoptable remains in the orphanage and cannot be placed in adoption. Though transfers are allowed, as per the system, the Child Welfare Committee needs to take the initiative and move this child into the adoption. It does not happen.
Okay.